Thanks for staying with us on the conversation. On the first half, we dealt with situations in Nigeria, talking about the elections, the IRF portal and the beavers, the use of it in Nigeria for the previous general elections. And right now, let's go to Zimbabwe, where the Citizens Coalition for Change has issued a 24-hour ultimatum to 41 alleged fraudulent candidates affiliated with the opposition party led by Nelson Chamisa. The CCC alleges that these candidates forged signatures and submitted nomination papers illegally. They have demanded that the candidates withdraw their nominations or face arrest on civil and criminal charges. Zai Mahiri, the spokesperson for CCC, stated in a press release that the party has objected to the presence of double candidates based on the procedures outlined in the Electoral Act. The opposition party has yet to receive a response from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commissions (ZEC) regarding their complaint. The party has accused certain individuals of infiltrating the candidate selection process during the nomination court proceedings. And joining us for this conversation, we have Sidix Muradzikwa, a political analyst who joins us from Harare in Zimbabwe. We also have Tawanda Mutungama, a political analyst. He joins us from Tajikistan. Gentlemen, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I'm going to begin with you, Tawanda. We're trying to get some background knowledge of what exactly happened. So why does the CCC accuse these candidates of forging signatures and submitting nomination papers illegally? Let's have a background context of the situations at hand.
So to give background, I would say the opposition has faced a challenge of double candidacy from the past. And what that does, it's called a spoiler effect. Meaning if similar people or similar candidates compete for the same role, none of them has a chance to win. So what does that mean? It means if there are two candidates who are CCC and one candidate is ZANU PF, even though the candidate for ZANU PF may, for example, have 40% of the ballot, and then the other 60% is 30% on CCC candidates, both CCC candidates lose the election. So they should not split the vote. So, and in order not to split votes, the party has to have one. So what am I saying? So I'm saying it's important to have order in a party. And how do you achieve order? So order comes when the selection of candidates is done. All the candidates are driven in a certain way to support one candidate. And without unifying candidates, votes are split and the election is lost. And once the election is lost for parliamentary candidates, even the presidential candidate is at loss, because if they don't have a two-thirds majority, they can have a vote of no confidence. So if Advocate Nelson Chamisa wins the election, but he doesn't have enough MPs in parliament, it's of no good. So he will eventually have a vote of no confidence. So there is need to put the house in order, one candidate per post and not dual candidates. And people who don't belong to the party should not contest the election using the party name. It is fraud, and I think they are justified to prosecute these people. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Tawanda. I want to bring in Sidix into this conversation, and we're still trying to understand how exactly this happened while we're having double nominations, while we're seeing forged signatures and submitting nomination papers illegally. How is this happening to the CCC? I mean, what's your own take on this issue?
So, what has actually happened it remains oblivious to everyone. Why? Because only CCC spokesperson Giftos Siziba and Father Mahiri, they have come out publicly denouncing the issue that has obtained or hit the part at the center of the part, which is the issue you are mentioning of double candidates. But they are vehemently dismissing objecting that it is something that has happened within the agreements within the quarters of the party. But what they are saying is obtained is actually something that is tied. Although publicly there are so many double candidates that have emerged within their party. There are allegations that the failure by the ZANU PF party and its cronies to try to infiltrate the CCC party, and they're actually indicating that that is the reason why we have been hiding our things or hiding the internal processes of the party. So they were actually avoiding such incidents of double candidates, and they actually mentioned from the beginning that they are not going to announce the names of those who are lodging the papers. And actually, the CCC, as we all know, it doesn't have structures because of fear of infiltration by Central Intelligence Organization and ZANU PF at large. So these are only allegations which needs to be verified as to what really transpired. But from what is on the ground, they are actually pinpointing and blaming the FAS organization, which is closely linked to ZANU PF and the CIO. But who knows, remains veiled in obscurity as to what really transpired. But indications are that there are candidates who did not file their papers or lodge their papers according to the party in terms of the signatures, their forged signatures. So that is what is actually obtained as according to Gift to Ostalo and Father Emahe.
Okay, thank you so much, Sidix. Now, Tawanda, rather, looking at the situations, we've seen the CCC point accusing fingers because a lot of people want to know how exactly this happened. They're saying that the ruling ZANU PF has a part to play in all of this. They talked about trying to infiltrate the party and that they're responsible for this chaos that has happened within their party. So within the context of the political terrain in Zimbabwe, why would the CCC accuse ZANU PF of these infiltrations?
Well, I think in contest to attain power, I think all things are on the table. All cards are on the table, and it is important for people to protect their own party. So in this case, I think there is need for a disciplinary process or ways to show power, ways to show that when such a thing is done, the party can discipline people who fraudulently use their name. And in this case, would expect the president to not to go back on prosecution. And if it's not prosecution, probably use other means to ensure there is order in the use of a brand. For example, if you Mercedes, if you are not Mercedes, you should be prosecuted. So it's the same with a political brand. It should be sacred, and no one should be able to use it and without consent, because the effect is loss on the brain.
Tawanda, I understand what you're saying, that people who are found culpable of this act should be punished. But why is the ZANU PF been called in the matter of the CCC, where they dared during the nomination of their party members? Why is ZANU PF being involved with their party matters?
Well, if they can do it, if there are weaknesses in a party, I think they can do it. But it is not up to just blaming another party. So if it's CCC, it should be able to have its own processes and strength to protect the brand. At the same time, if it's possible for ZANU PF to use the CCC brand, why does the CCC also dualize candidates and use the name of ZANU PF to just do a similar thing probably in the rural areas and split the votes in the rural areas as they would protect their votes in the city? So if it's that easy, why not do it? So the most plausible thing is to protect your own party, to have internal processes, to have discipline in the party, and not only discipline, to be able to sweet talk your members, to say, look, please wait, your chance will come, or if we win this parliamentary election, you will get this in government, so that people are motivated not to compete for just one position. So it's also about using the charisma that the leadership has to convince its members not to outcompete each other, thereby both losing. It's like the parable which is given in the Bible, where the child had died, and the two prostitutes came to Solomon, and when an offer to kill the child was given, the other child says, the other woman says, let's kill, because they have nothing to gain. So in this case, Advocate Nelson Chamisa would need to show wisdom in order to see who is genuinely CCC, and those who are not genuinely CCC should be thrown under the bus. And strength is required at national level, and discipline and order is required in a leader who could lead a nation. So Advocate Nelson Chamisa must show leadership and must show strength if he will be able to lead a country.
Definitely lots of things that the party needs to do to get its house in order, because these are very grave allegations and serious issues going on within the party. I'm going to bring civics into this conversation. Now, I wonder what the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission has had to say concerning this. Have they responded to the allegations made by the CCC to these grievous offences, the ultimatum that's been given to this 41 fraudulent people that they have mentioned? What has been the reaction of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission?
In politics, there are some regulators of the political events which normally happens in our country. And in this case, ZEC has not gave or released any public official statement from its chambers. Nothing has been said so far with regards to this. And it is actually their duty to register all the people who probably lodges or file their papers, and like they did, it is actually within the confines of the law. So we're actually waiting for them to give its a verdict or its public statement with regards to this political or electoral malcontent which has happened. But I also wanted to reflect on some of the political errors which has been made by my brother, whereby he said if it is CCC is supposed also to do it. In politics, we all know that the Zimbabwean political terrain is inclined towards ZANU PF. ZANU PF do have control of 30 institutions. The chapter 12 institutions in which ZEC falls under is also captured by ZANU PF. So there is no point whereby CCC can actually be able to come up with such a political maneuver to counter ZANU PF. That political trickery is only a prerogative or a privilege that can be accessed by ZANU PF just because it has the resources, state capture, and so and everything. So it's actually something which is extremely next to difficult for CCC to actually push such a political grand side that has been
now, Siddiq, quickly, I want you to answer this question, Siddiq, because they've been given a 24-hour ultimatum to the 41 alleged fraudulent candidates. Has there been any response from them? What are these people that have been charged doing, and what is CCC's next action if they fail to comply within this 24-hour ultimatum?
Actually, on the first day which happened, which this debacle happened, only 2 people came out publicly, and they were actually told that their names were submitted to ZEC. It was something that was oblivious to them. They didn't know. They were actually utterly surprised by that political event. They didn't know, and they come out publicly clearly stating that we don't know, we didn't even file our names. They were actually surprised. But the other camp, they are yet to respond. That's why CCC has actually gave them an ultimatum of 24 hours for them to withdraw their candidature. And that is something that we are actually waiting for tomorrow to see if they are going to, if we are going to have more and more people from these who are in this political debacle to probably at least to give their responses or a statement. But we expect them to oblige to the CCC if they don't want to face the legal consequences or the legal consequences of this issue.
All right, thank you so much, Serix Mudrad Ditsqua, for joining us on this conversation. We do wait and see if they will comply with the 24-hour ultimatum that's been given. And also, Tawanda, you talked about the show of strength that Nelson Chamisa has to give to the party to overcome these challenges. Thank you once again for sharing so much thoughts on this particular issue in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
You're welcome.